So earlier today, our operations director, Frank, was standing here where I'm standing right now, looking out over the gym floor. You can see how shiny it looks. It's because it has just been sanded and resurfaced. Anyways, while he was standing here, all of a sudden he heard a weird noise and he thought, that sounds like it's coming from the boys' washroom. Remember that episode where I touched a pipe in the wall and it exploded? Basically a geyser coming out of the wall. I think it was a couple seasons ago. Go back and watch it if you haven't seen it. It's hilarious.
Buckle up for safety as I give you a day in the life of facilities maintenance.
Anyway, Frank hears this noise, so he goes into the bathroom here to inspect, and he hears this noise coming from the urinal, at least the urinal tank up top there. So he goes up there with a ladder, and you have to appreciate his honesty. He said, I just touched it. It blew out of the wall and he got completely soaked. This devil's pipe that I call it, this CPVC, it just gets brittle and it breaks, and this broke off right in the wall. Oh, poor guy. I know what I'll be doing this afternoon. So in order to do this job, I need to cut a hole in the wall, need to repair the plumbing, and then I need to patch the wall. So when I do something like this, I want to make life easier for myself. So the first thing I do is I mark out where the studs are. You can see one there, one there. I just use a basic stud finder for that. I've drawn out a rectangle where I'm going to cut out and remove that section of drywall. This will become my patch, and all I'll need to do is put some backing around the perimeter and screw it back in place and then mud it back in. So that's the first step. Once I open it up, then I'm going to be able to see what I'm working with in the wall. You can see where that pipe broke off right at the fitting. I'm going to have to remove and rebuild the piping in the wall in this area, and hopefully not crack it any further in the process. Like I said, this CPVC piping is terrible stuff. They used a lot of it in the late 80s, early 90s. This building was built in 94, so it was kind of on its way out, although they still sell it today because it's really easy for a DIYer to just glue and fit pieces together. But over time it goes brittle, and that's exactly what's happened here, which is why it just snapped. So here's what I'm looking at here. I've got this 90 that is attaching to a 1/2-inch supply line coming up from below and turning out right here. I want to try and do this repair without having to remove this tank or take out any tile or anything like that. So I think I should be able to just take it down to there, maybe get in there with my multi-tool and cut that off like that, and then hopefully find another piece like this, but not made out of CPVC, but something that I can tie into CPVC and turn the corner. Yeah, it might have to be like a push to fit, like a shark bite or something like that. I think what I'll do though is open this area up a little bit more, so I have a little bit more access to work. thing about a multi-tool like this is it allows me to cut off a pipe like this, which is brittle, but it allows me to do it in a very gentle way so that I don't stress the pipe and crack it in any other locations. Maybe I try and take out some of this backing.
Part of the dilemma that I'm running into here is that I need to cut the top of the pipe off square so that my fitting can make a good fit over the end of the pipe, but also access for that fitting. There's wood in front of my piping, there's wood behind the piping, and to be able to slip a press to fit fitting over top of that, I'm going to need more clearance. So I'm kind of carving my way in here to cut the pipe off square and create the clearance I need in order to put a 90 on top of that.
But I think in the meantime, before I go any further with that, I am going to see what I can find to replace this piece with, and I'm going to take this apart and see what kind of compression fitting I'm dealing with here at this end. So looking to replace this drop ear elbow, is what it's called because these are ears. This shark bite might just save my bacon, because where I cut this off, I can push this fitting right onto the pipe that's in the wall, and this is threaded, and that would just thread right into there, like that actually. Well, as it turns out, I'm not able to do what I wanted to do, and I have to rebuild the whole thing. And I'll also say too that I noticed it when I was in the States, at the Home Depots in the States, they sell PEX piping in straight lengths. Or here in Canada, they sell it in coils, which I kind of wish they didn't, because I always have to try and straighten out the curve. So here it is, out with the old, in with the new. Now essentially what I first wanted to try and do was to get a shark bite fitting that fits over the CPVC piping and then allows me to just thread into here, because this is threaded. However, the shark bite fitting, the threading that goes into here on that is a pipe thread, and this is actually not a pipe thread, it's a compression fitting. So the threading is different. This is finer. The simplest solution was to simply just rebuild it like this. Okay, this piece that I've made will work just fine. However, took another look at this, and I need to cut this off. But if I cut it any shorter, because right now it's flush with the top of the tile, I'm gonna have to take another 1/4 inch off, so I might have to nibble down a little bit in this tile here. We do what we have to. So now I will just take my multi-tool and I can reach straight in here and I can make a nice cut right there. I have to be so careful. So I've taken some tape and wrapped them around the tips of these pliers so that I can hold on to the pipe while I'm cutting it with this. Otherwise it just wants to shake back and forth. I've successfully cut this piece off, leaving me with enough pipe to connect to there, an undamaged, not cracked, usable pipe. Man, this is a little stressful. Because if this breaks here, I'm screwed. I gotta open up the wall and do a coronary bypass at that point. So what I'm noticing here is I'm looking at the pipe and I'm going, hey, there's a little scuff in the side of there. I didn't make that. And I'm just looking at how close they got to going through this pipe in the wall when they put this screw in to hold the tank on the wall. Oh, that would have been so bad. Anyway, I've managed to nibble out a little bit more around here. It's so tight. There just wasn't quite the clearance, and so I nibbled away a little bit here. Turns out I had to also cut and break away a little section here. But then once I was in here, I realized, hold on a second. I was able to reach around and hold onto the pipe from behind tight enough to provide the resistance needed to push this down until it fully seated, which is exactly what I needed and is good because now it is not going to leak. And yeah, all I need to do is strap this now, and then I can start putting the wall back together. That's good for a first coat. I'm gonna leave that for now. I'll come back to it tomorrow. Okay, I've been able to confirm that everything is working fine here and nothing is leaking in the wall. So I'm going to close up this little last remaining opening. Once I've done that, I'll be ready to paint it. I will sign off here, say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.